Well, I was on my way to my second job. Once I arrived there and exited my car, I noticed a police car. So then he came around to the driver's side, told me to come out the car. I was like, for what? What do I do wrong? He was like, step outside the car, I gotta take precautions, I gotta put you in cuffs. And I was like, for what? What did I do wrong? He was like, well, let me see your license. Then he was like, put your hands on the car, spread your legs. So he finally put me in handcuffs. Then he told me to lay down on the ground. I said, for what? He forcibly pushed my whole body on the ground, laid me all the way on the ground. And that's when backup had came and the officer put the taser to my neck. And then when I was completely down, that's when the officer mushed me down, dirty up my face. And he never told me what I did. He kept saying, is your name such? I was like, no, that's not my name. Why you keep calling me that? That's not, he said some name, I don't remember the name, but it wasn't mine. And he had my license, so it showed who I was. Well, when all this was going on, I did tell him I work with the city. So, I don't think, we supposed to be, working hand in hand, because we all up under the same umbrella. I wouldn't think I would get treated like that. Especially I ain't do nothing wrong. When a person asks, what's the problem, what did I do wrong, when they question the officer back, the officer should give them a reasonable explanation of why he's being stopped, harassed, or whatever, and that could diffuse a lot of the situation. I think if you stop me, I should be able to ask you why you stopped me and get an answer.
It was January 9th, 2013. I was driving down Holloway Street. I swerved for a pothole. I seen he turn his lights on. I made a right on Dow Street, pulled over probably about 25, 30 feet after I made the turn. Officer Tidwell came up to the car, asked me about my, my license and stuff. He told me he pulled me over because I swerved the pothole, which, I thought it was understandable. Okay, I swerved the pothole. If you notice today, they repaid that whole road. He said he came up, he told me about what he was going to do. So, he asked for my license and stuff. I gave him my license stuff. He went back to the car. He came back and he said, get out the car. He said, get out the car. I was like, I was kind of shocked. I felt kind of strange because I didn't feel like I should have to get out of the car for, I swerved the pothole, man. He pulled me out the car, even though, like I said, I had on my city uniform. But anyway, I got out of the car. As soon as I got out of the car, Officer Tidwell and his Officer Shuley began their assault on me, and they just started roughing me up, yanking me around and stuff. I was trying not to resist, but I didn't want to get hurt either. They roughed me up a little bit. They said they was doing a frisk search, but I used to be a correctional officer. How much I had, and I was in the service. I had plenty of training on, how frisk search and stuff like that's supposed to go, and this was nothing like that. Nothing like that. When somebody, pull on your scrotum and stuff like that, you know the difference. After that right there, they asked me to sit on the ground. I had a hemorrhoid operation not too long before that, and I really didn't want to sit on the ground, and they was putting me in cuffs. And I'm still asking, what's going on? Why are you doing this to me? And then, like I say, more officers started arriving. There was about 12 police cars out there, at least 16 officers. But another officer came over, I ain't quite his name, but he grabbed me by my throat and started choking me with his thumb in my neck like this. He was choking me. I was on the back of my car. I was never told I was under arrest. If they was going to arrest me, what was the charges? Officer Shuley pulled a taser out on me. That's where the taser video comes from. But she had the taser pointed in my face. I didn't do anything wrong. It was a pothole. You know, they ran the dogs and stuff through my car and everything. You know, I got broken pieces in my car now where they ran through it and broke stuff, you know, and put the dogs in there. Didn't even find anything.
Yeah, we had went to McDonald's and we was on our way back. And we was coming down Sedgefield. I think it's Sedgefield and Inglewood. It's a stop sign. You got to get just a little bit ahead of it so you can see both ways. And lo and behold, we go straight on down and past the police, and he busted you right behind us. Pulled us over. Talking about we ran the stop sign. Police / Officer Brown walks up and he asked my homeboy, "What up, boy? What y'all doing tonight?" And that already was like, that set the tone for a bad situation, because you calling a black guy as a white man a boy. Like, this ain't the slavery. Like, why you can come up and approach somebody and say boy? Like, that would be okay. Like, well, for the police just be all looking down my pants and tapping all in my pockets and doing all type of other stuff for no reason, just for me coming back to eat from something to eat, like that's irrelevant. It make me feel like nothing. Just make me feel like I can be used, and because I can't say nothing about it, because don't nothing get done about it, like, or it wouldn't be going on. It just make me feel like nothing. That's all I can say.
It was our van. They had borrowed our family's van to go get something from the McDonald's. And on the way back into the neighborhood, they were stopped. And because they were in our van, he called and told me. And it was just a couple blocks around the street, around the corner from our house. So I went, and I was there firsthand to witness about an hour-long thorough search of our van, brought out dogs, said incredibly rude things to these 3 young African Americans who were in the van, and in all of this said that they were doing it because the van had run through a stop sign, a rolling stop. Which I just saw somebody do right there. I mean, it's not uncommon, to roll past the stop sign. Even in some of them in this neighborhood, you have to if you're going to look up the street. And so I suspected that this was kind of a pretense, for trying to look for something, a sort of fishing expedition. And I expressed my concern to the officer, and he was very rude and obviously felt threatened, felt like he could defend himself. And said that he was doing exactly what his chief wanted him to do.
When Officer Brown, police, they pulled up on us on Berkeley Street, and I had my phone, and the way he pulled up, I already had pushed record because it wasn't right and we weren't doing nothing. So when he came up, he had went to the driver's side first, after he had already threatened me with the taser. And when my door was finally open, one officer, he had searched me right quick. Then he had noticed I had my phone on record, started trying to wrestle my phone from me. And I was he thought it was on record, but I told him it won't, so I still had my phone. He let me keep it, but he tried to wrestle it from me until Brown told him stop. But he had already then pulled me into the outside of the door. Only way I didn't fall because I grabbed the door, you feel me? So it's like, well, they trying to beat me up. And I mean, I ain't no type of threat. I mean, I'm in a wheelchair. I'm a high functioning quad. Like, police just abusive, man. They abuse their authority to do what they want.
I can't remember like that, but I was waiting for my wife to meet up with me at Phoenix Square off Fayetteville Street, Durham, North Carolina, and we was gonna go in to this restaurant, this barbecue place, and try the barbecue because she loved barbecue. And I think it was like 9-ish, 10-ish at night or something. And I saw this friend. He's not really a friend, just somebody I just knew. So I just spoke to him. I told him I was waiting, so he just sat in the truck with me and just waiting for my wife to show up. About as soon as he got in the car, I guess within 5 minutes, I had been there about 5 minutes before I saw him. Police officer car came behind my truck. My car was parked in the handicap park. And one officer approached from the driver's side and one approached from the passenger side, coming from the back towards the front of the car, front of my truck, shining the light the whole time, on my way to meeting me at the front glass, the front driver's seat. I had my scooter in the car, so they can see that I got a mobility scooter in the back. So the guy got to the door and spoke to me and said, "How you doing, sir?" He asked me what I was doing. I said I was waiting for my wife. He asked us both for ID. And once he asked for the ID, I gave him my ID. A couple more cars pulled up. Whole incident, I think it was about 5 different cars out there. I think it was about 7 to 8 officers total. And all of them was surrounded my car. Officer came back, gave me my license, but the officer conversated with me like, how long you been in Durham? Just general questions or whatever, and I'm just asking the best way I can. And then he happened to say, pointed to the police car that had parked in front of me. At this time, I consider myself blocked in. So he said, "Do you know who they are?" And I said, "No." He said, "It's the gang unit." And I was like, okay, it's great, I was kind of puzzled why he said that to me. And then he was asked it, conversation went to where I work, what I do for a living, stuff like that. And I was answering the questions as best way I can. And then I said, well, I don't feel comfortable with these questions, about how I afford my car, how much it costs, things of that nature. That didn't have anything to do with the situation at hand. So when I didn't refuse, but I explained to the officer that I didn't feel the line of questioning was appropriate. I just feel like he was just trying to kill time. He asked me to step out the car. And I said, well, I'm disabled. I need to get my cane because I can't walk or stand up without my cane. He said, "It's no problem. You can just stand right here. We're not going nowhere." So the officer asked me to step out the car, refused to give my cane. So I stepped out the car. Now I'm on one leg and I'm standing. And I had to put my hands, the door was open, so I had to put my hands on the car like this to keep myself from falling. So he stretched me down and patted me down or whatever. And didn't find anything on me. And he asked, "Do you got any grenades, guns, different things?" And I said, "No, I ain't got none of that. Do you mind just search the car?" I said, "No, I don't even mind answering. I don't even want to answer no more questions because I don't feel I should have to. I've done nothing wrong waiting. I answered all y'all questions. I wasn't disrespectful or none of that." So then the officer proceeded to tell me to step to the back of the car. Now, I had to actually, I wish I could demonstrate, but I considered me hopping to the back of the car, maybe 2 or 3 hops because I was at the front door, whatever. My cane's still in the car. And they asked me again, why would I refuse them searching my car? And I was like, I just don't feel like I have to. And he said, well, y'all cannot search my car. I'm not giving y'all permission to search my car. You don't have the right to search my car. I want to be on record that I'm refusing this search. Well, Mr. Ragland, I explained to you that we're going to search the car, so you just hold tight. After they searched the car and didn't find anything, they said, now, at this time I'm standing outside on there about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And so at the time, after they searched the car, they said, well, Mr. Ragland, you can get in your car and you can leave. And I said, well, I ain't ready to leave now. Why is that? I said, because I want y'all to explain to me how y'all can just come up to me, ask me for my license, I comply, we give you my license, conversate with me about this and that end up to me being standing out here all this time without my cane that I need, while y'all searching my vehicle, searching me, and don't give me no explanation.
Boy, I had just left from work. I still had my work uniform on. went to visit my mother and grandmother, as I did every day. I saw the officer ride by. I gave my mother the keys and the kiss. I got in my SUV, I turned around, and I proceeded to go home. And as I turned around, it was a car behind me, and got in the turning lane, put my turning signal on, pulled up in the front of the store, and I had the blue lights on me. And so the officer got out, I got out my vehicle, and the officer got out his vehicle and asked me to get back in. And I asked him, why am I being stopped? He said, get back in the vehicle. And as I got back in the vehicle, he pushed the door up against my leg, where it actually, you know, it hurt my leg. And so I knew then this guy was a little aggressive. And then and I asked him why he stopped me, and I asked him why you stopped me again. He told me, shut up, I think I have a right to ask you why am I being stopped. And so he stood there for a minute, and he said, you know, you coming out of a known drug area. I was like, my mother lived in that neighborhood, and my elderly grandmother. Officer Garcia never really gave me a reason. I asked him 5 to 6 times why did he stop me before he even said something about me coming out of a drug neighborhood. And I asked him, what does that mean? Everybody ride through a drug neighborhood is subjected to being stopped, you know. And I said, you know, you didn't see me make no hand transactions. Nobody walked up to my vehicle. You know, it was just no reason for it. So I went to light my cigarette, and he grabbed my left arm and pulled it out the door, trying to make me drop the lighter and squeeze the light out my hand, and also putting force where my arm was being bent back towards the back of my vehicle. And I asked him, why are you putting your hands on me? As he was bending my arm, I had a notepad, because I keep taking notes of what we do at work and fill out paperwork. And so I had the notepad, and I grabbed my pen and then went to write down on my pad, and I asked him what was my badge number. And before I could get out badge number, I was tased, and I was looking the opposite way, you know. I feel like there was police brutality happened to me for nothing. You know, I think he could have talked to me, and if he thought I was giving him a problem, asked me to get out the vehicle. But instead, he referred to tasing me, and then tasing me when I'm looking and talking to Officer English. So I didn't see the tasing coming or nothing. I just felt it. And like I said, I urinated on myself. That was humiliating, because the people at the store was watching, and I'm sure they could see when I used the bathroom on myself. And it was just a humiliating, probably the most humiliating day of my life. And then I was diagnosed from my psychiatrist that I was seeing with post-traumatic stress disorder, because I was telling about the constant nightmares and the hurt. You know, it tears your self-esteem down. To me, for myself, I don't know about anybody else, but it tore my self-esteem down a lot too, because I had something, I feel like there was police brutality happened to me for nothing. Dr. Chandler diagnosed me with depression, post-traumatic stress disorder. But now, when I get stopped, if I get stopped, I am terrified. My hands literally shake.
My day was quiet, September 28th, 2013. And I got a phone call. They wanted me to come to work an hour early. So I left home. I cycle most places where I go. And I was having a good day. I was going down Austin Avenue heading towards 55, and I'm moving pretty fast, and I see the lights green, and I started pedaling. Before I could get to the middle of the intersection, I heard this police car beep, and I kept moving. I didn't think he was beeping at me, and then he beeped again, and I realized that I was being stopped by a police officer. I said, "What?" He said, he got out of his car and he shouts, "Get off the bike! Get off the bike!" His mannerisms showed hostility, and I knew I was going to have a problem right then and there. Got off the bicycle, and we had a few more words, and I said, "Show me the video." And when I turned to walk towards the police car, he grabbed me below and above my elbow when I was not looking. There was no time to react mentally when he grabbed my arm. There was excruciating pain, and his actions of taking me down or throwing me down were so fluid that they seemed rehearsed. He knew what he was going to do. He threw me to the ground, and didn't care how much bodily harm he caused. I hit my head on a curve very hard, so hard that my head bounced. So I'm dizzy at this point. He never asked for my ID, and if he wanted to place me under arrest, he did not tell me to turn around and put my hands behind my back or you're under arrest. And if you notice in the video, I still have my shoulder bag on. So had he said, "You're under arrest," I would have complied. I didn't do anything. But from a personal standpoint and the standpoint of a black man, to me, this guy was acting like a supremacist.
January 2014, I went to meet a friend of mine at Burger King where I was giving them some food. I backed in my car at the Burger King area and the service station area, and I waited for him. He came about 10-15 minutes later, and he came by and he drove straight in the parking space beside me. So he got out his truck, we spoke, and I showed him the food that I gave him, which was chitlins. So he sat the chitlins on the truck and pulled out his phone because he had a grandbaby that was recently born and he wanted to show me the pictures. So I looked at the pictures of the grandbaby and I told him how the grandbaby favored him and everything. So after that, he picked the chitlins up. He got in his truck because he had to go to work. So he was going to be heading up Austin Avenue, and I took Austin and hung a right to Burlington Avenue. When I got up at the stoplight, the stoplight turned green and I made a left turn. When I looked in my rearview mirror, it was a police car with the lights on. So I put on my right signal and turned into Church's Chicken. He came to Church's Chicken and he got out his car. I had parked my car, and he didn't ask me to roll my window down or anything. He opened my door and told me to get out the car, and I got out the car. And he said, "Do you know why I'm stopping you?" I said, "I do not." He said, "Where are you coming from?" I said, "I'm coming from home." He said, "Did you make any more stops?" I said, "Yes, I stopped at Burger King. I saw a friend. We met at Burger King." "Well, what did you give that friend?" I said, "I gave that friend some chitlins, some food." And he said, "Well, you were under surveillance, and the surveillance officer gave me a call and told me you made a drug transaction." I said, "No, I wasn't. That was food in the bag that I gave to my friend." So he said, "Well, I'm going to have to search your car." I said, "You do not have permission to search my car." He said, "I don't need permission to search your car." And I told him again, "You cannot search my car." That's when he called for backup. So another police car came out with two Caucasian officers in there. So one of the officers, the one that was on the driver's side, he got out. And he said, well, hello, what's your name? I said, my name is Robin. He said, come step behind the car, right? So he said, is this your car? I said, yes, this is my car. So the officer searched my car, and I said, well, why is the officer searching my car? I didn't give him permission to search my car. Why is this person going through my purse? I mean, he actually took stuff out of my purse and laid it in the seat of my car. He went through my glove compartment, and it was locked. So he grabbed something to stick it in my glove compartment to unlock it so he can pull those things out, and he laid them on the floor. He didn't put anything back. And I mean, I felt like that's my personal space, especially my pocketbook. So I don't allow anyone to search or go in my purse. So he got my driver's license, still searching through my car, and found nothing. So when he came out, I said, you know, I look at TV and I read the newspaper, and I know this is racial profiling. And he stormed off and said, you don't know what racial profiling is, you idiot. I mean, I was scared because I didn't know what he was going to do next, because he was really upset. Then he stormed to his police car. That's when I was afraid, because I didn't know if he's getting ready to pull out his gun or what he was doing. So he stormed to his car and went and got some piece of equipment, and hit it up against my window, because I had tint on the car that I done bought 7 years ago on the back windows, and he told me the tint was too dark. So he gave me a ticket for my tint being too dark.
I was walking towards Miami Boulevard from my crib. I was going to the shopping center. I didn't feel like driving, and I was just going a couple of blocks away from my crib. So like three cops passed me on the motorcycle. Then a Charger came by, and when the Charger came by, the officer in the Charger looked at me, throws on his sirens. So I stopped, said, what's the problem? He asked me, do I live around here? I said, yeah, I live around here. He was like, well, can I search you? I was like, search me for what? What did I do wrong? He was like, well, got a call, having people walking around area. They seen suspicious people walking around. So I said, okay, no problem. So when he asked to search me, he asked me, do I have any weapons on me? I said, yes, I got a knife in my back right pocket. I work with the city. He said, okay. So he went to proceed, took the knife out of my pocket, and then he had me put my hands on the cop car. When he was searching me, he was like searching me real roughly. So like they groping you, a search is a pat down, a pat down to see if you got any weapons on you is a search. A pat down is a search, but when the officer is taking both hands and rubbing it from your wrist all the way down, or coming from your shoulder all the way down, roughly on your body, real manly and rough, that's not a search. It feels like you being sexually harassed. Obviously, he was gonna search me regardless. If I told him no, you had backup come, you had an undercover car come, and the crime scene truck come. So what's that for? That would look like another takedown. I don't want that again. So then after he finished searching me, he said, okay, that's it. You have a nice day. Then he finally came out and said, well, we've been having a lot of breaking and enterings around here, a lot of B&Es. Oh, okay, so now you just racially profile me because I'm black and you see me walking. It's not the first time. It's like every time an officer see me, they want to stop me. I don't know. I must got the face of a criminal, a person that's doing something that's not right. I don't know what it is, but you know, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover.
I think I was pulled over more so because I was black and that my hair is long and I have locks. And I feel like when the police see a person like that, you know, you get profiled and stereotyped.
I felt like I was stopped because I was a black man coming out of a known drug area. So to me, that's racial profiling. And besides, I had my hat turned around backwards too. So you know, I've gotten stopped prior to this, and because I got my hat turned around back and it's blue, they asked me, am I related to a gang? I've never been affiliated. I don't agree with gangs. I've never been affiliated with gang members. So it's just amazing how some officers stereotype it.
Racial profiling to me is when the police officers mess with you with no apparent reason. You know, they always come out and say, well, you know, we got a call, or you fit the description of this person. You know, it's always the same old excuse, that the loophole that they use in order to harass you.
What's so bad about racial profiling is that it really doesn't solve what you're looking for. Racial profiling keeps the officer from doing it, like I say, his main job. His main job, because by profiling a person, what you're already doing is saying that person is guilty. When it comes to thinking about, you know, how does racial profiling affect somebody, it's detrimental. It's real detrimental to, you know, all parties involved. And the way in Durham, I want to say it takes away from the credibility of the police department.
How they searching now is like you getting sexual harassed, humiliated, and everything, because now you got everybody coming out looking. Now you done brandish my name. You done tarnish my name. Now everybody is looking at me. I'm a city worker. I'm cutting people water on, fixing people water system. Now they looking at me, oh, he a criminal, because the police always stopping him and searching him. He must be doing something wrong.
You know, as a member of the community, as a minister in the community, as someone, you know, who loves Durham, I'm horrified, and I think most people like me would be horrified if they had been there and seen that, if they'd heard these things. I think the members of our city council would be horrified. I don't think that the people who are doing this would want to answer for it before the community.
And like, even though I didn't want them to search me, it's like, do you really have an option then? When they got tasers all on you and stuff? Because then once they fry you with the taser, it's your word against theirs, and you really don't have a voice for that.
I would like for the person or the person who stopped have to sign a piece of paper saying, yes, I gave you permission to search my car. Because I have known over years that a lot of people say no such as myself and still get searched. And then after the fact, well, he gave us permission, so it's your word against them. So I would like some more concrete evidence that a person said yes or no.
It's about justice. You know, it's about it not happening, the same thing happening to the next man.
I'm speaking about it because I want something done about it with the police department. I feel like I don't want anybody else to go through something like this. Nothing gets done. They just walk freely and just keep on doing it to other people.
Some things you just don't do. And I feel like me having to stand on one leg getting searched, it's just too much, you know, and it could have easily been sour. You know, it could have easily been worse. The small thing, so small thing turned to a big thing. So that's why I feel like I need to voice my opinion whenever I can. I will. to explain to me what happened, because it happened. It's the truth.
Okay, so I swerve a pothole. I get pulled out my car, and I get the taser pointed at my face for traffic ticket violation. But that's what happened.
I was stopped maliciously, mistreated verbally and physically, charged with something that I did not do, and eventually found not guilty.
When I'm gonna be determined not a suspect, when I'm old and gray and I got a cane and I'm in the wheelchair, you know, for them not to mess with me, I'm paying my taxes.
As long as they can just respect the fact that people can be black in cars and in hoodies and driving and bopping their heads and doing whatever. That don't mean they're a threat. That don't mean they're doing no harm.